What's up everybody, Matt Maran here for another My Week With video. So this week I've been driving the 2023 Lexus RX350h. So the H is the hybrid version here of the RX, and I already spent a full week with the 500h, which is the faster, more performance-oriented hybrid that they offer here for the new next generation RX here. And so, that one was really impressive, and I liked a lot about it. I did have some complaints with that vehicle as well, and some of those complaints are general RX complaints that also transfer over to this vehicle, which I'll get to briefly in a minute here. But the main thing I want to cover here in this video is my fuel economy, because if you're looking at an RX350h, chances are you're interested in fuel economy, and that's why you want the hybrid thing. And so as far as my fuel economy here, so these are rated first off at 37 mpg in the city, 34 on the highway, and 36 combined, which is basically best in class and just, blows everything out of the water as far as fuel economy. No one else really offers a regular hybrid. There's plug-in hybrids that are a lot more expensive from all the other luxury companies, but Lexus is currently really the only one that offers a regular hybrid. If you don't want to go up to the plug-in hybrid thing and mess with the plugging in the vehicle and all that, it's really great. You have such good fuel economy here. And so with my driving, I drove about 140 miles here this week, and actually I'd say a slight majority of it was actually highway mileage, so that would tend to skew it towards that 34 mpg number. But in my driving here all week, I've been getting 35 mpg, and so I'm basically getting exactly the fuel economy I was hoping to get here in this vehicle, and actually kind of overperforming my optimistic expectations, because typically I get like 1 to 2 mpg less than the city rating in most of the vehicles that I test here. And with most of my driving being suburban around town kind of driving, I was expecting to be right around that 35 mark, where it would be 1 to 2 mpg less than the city. But again, still with how much highway driving I did, I'm just kind of impressed that I got as good a fuel economy as I did. And so it's just unheard of, to be getting 35 mpg here in something that's is luxurious and still decently powerful. Like, we're gonna accelerate up a hill here. I'm just in the normal drive mode, but I'm already up over the speed limit there. So, it's only 246 horsepower. And yes, it's just a naturally aspirated 4-cylinder engine, but honestly, it's fine. 246 horsepower might not sound like a lot in something that's, a little bit larger and heavier like this is, but it's been totally fine because you have that electric motor to give you the initial little zip that actually makes it feel pretty peppy around town. Yes, it still doesn't feel quite as powerful as the regular 350. And of course, if you want more power and you want, a happy medium of fuel economy, you can go down to the RX500h. That gives you lower fuel economy, which is why I say go down. But it is, of course, more expensive and gives you more performance. But, I don't know. I feel like this is enough power. And, some people might scoff at this engine being in this vehicle because, it's not as prestigious as the last RX with its hybrid being a 450h. They've downgraded to a 350h here for the regular hybrid now. But I think it's totally sufficient for, again, what people that actually own these and drive these do with them, which is, just drive, do their normal errands and stuff like that. And for all those types of use cases, this is going to be plenty of power. And I'm really happy that they actually had the guts to go down to the 350h here, because I think that it really makes a lot of sense. But yes, every once in a while, if you're doing, an intense 0 to 60 run and you're trying to merge or something, it's not going to feel the most powerful. But aside from those very rare, very short-lived little instances, this is going to be totally fine power-wise, and I think it's a great choice here with the 350. Other things here, though, to note about it. Well, like I said, I had some complaints like I had with the RX 500. The main one primarily is the head-up display here. Lexus really went all in on heavily relying on the head-up display way more than most other companies, where, the gauge cluster does very little these days. It shows you everything that, you're used to it showing, but it doesn't really have much adjustability to it, aside from the drive modes and then just the one thing that's in the middle there. But otherwise, everything is just controlled through the head-up display, and it's okay. As long as you like head-up displays, it's not a big deal. The only thing is, like, I've been driving this vehicle in the summer here where I'm wearing polarized sunglasses, and with polarized sunglasses, you can barely see this head-up display. So what that means is whenever I'm driving on the highway and I want to turn on the adaptive cruise control system, that I have to see what I'm doing through the head-up display. It only displays that on the head-up display, and so I'm trying to see what how much I'm setting the cruise control for and messing with the settings and all that, and I can barely see it because I'm wearing my polarized sunglasses, and I have to take them off to adjust the cruise control and then put them back on. And again, if you don't wear polarized glasses, I guess it's not an issue, but it's just having everything be so heavily reliant on all of that stuff in the head-up display is just a little bit annoying. Now, you can turn the head-up display off, and then I guess some of that stuff will go into the gauge cluster a little more. It also, it displays all your safety warnings up there, and so like I talked about my RX 500, video, if you're in an intersection where a forward cross traffic alert is going off, which is something you can turn off, but if you like having that stuff on, it's going to be constantly, you know, having this head-up display warning whenever cars are passing by you and all that. I still don't love that, but if it were to me, I wouldn't let it get in the way of getting one of these. If I really wanted something like this, I would just, you know, turn off the head-up display and, you know, just hopefully be able to do enough through the gauge cluster there. Two other little odd things I wanted to mention very briefly, though, is first off, I'm going downhill, and this hybrid, instead of turning the engine off, is engine braking. I don't want to engine brake in a hybrid. I want to, you know, capture all that and instead just use regular regen braking and refill the electric battery. And there's been so many times this week where I'm going downhill and I'm like, I want to be in EV mode. I'm coasting down a hill, and instead it's engine braking and being all loud and weird. It's just kind of strange. You think a hybrid, they'd always try and turn the engine off as much as possible. And this one, it's like, oh, let's just engine brake instead of regen braking. Kind of a strange choice in my opinion, but I'm not an engineer. Maybe there's a good reason why. Just something that struck me as a little bit odd in a hybrid. And then the one other thing I wanted to mention is that whenever I was on the highway, the lane keep assist system worked pretty well. 99.9% of the time I was doing all the highway driving I was doing this week, but there was one time where the road markings were very clearly painted and everything was clear. It was a normal sunny day, and for some reason it still wanted to swerve over towards the shoulder at one point. It wasn't aggressive or crazy, but I was just like, why are you going that way? And I had to like correct it and intervene myself. So it's not 100% reliable or confidence inspiring all the time, but it was a really nice assistance, you know, to have there. Now it is still, you know, a hands-on system, of course, and if you do want to have a hands-free system, really the only one in this segment that's going to be offering that here, at least currently, is going to be the Lincoln Nautilus. And that brings me into the last thing I want to mention here is the pricing and how it compares to the competition. So this one as tested is $64,500 or so. And the great thing about that pricing is that that is identical to the price that you pay for a regular RX 350. So if you're willing to sacrifice a little bit of horsepower there, and you're going from the turbocharged 4-cylinder, you're getting that 350 to you know, the hybrid thing, which I would argue, you know, you might actually like a little bit better, especially if you're a Lexus buyer that wants the most reliability possible. I'm sure the turbo motor would be totally fine, but that also does recommend premium, I believe, versus this runs regular, and it's a naturally aspirated, simple, you know, Toyota Lexus engine here, so it should be super reliable as far as that goes, being naturally aspirated. But anyway, as far as, you know, the fact that they just charge the same amount is really nice. And you know, I mean, most others do charge a premium for a hybrid. Even the Lincoln Nautilus I just mentioned, which is like the only other one that offers a regular hybrid, they, you know, also make you pay like I think $1,500 extra. So anyway, it's just really cool that Lexus offers a very high MPG option for the same exact price as the regular version. These, by the way, start at $59,000. But you know, pricing otherwise is really irrelevant to even talk about, because again, no one offers a hybrid. So if you want a hybrid luxury midsize SUV, this is really your only option. Now, the other option that is coming in early 2024 is the new 2024 Lincoln Nautilus, which has a 310 horsepower, a little more punchy hybrid setup, and is the only other regular hybrid that'll be in this segment, really. And that is going to be priced right around this. They already have the configurators up and all that, and it's going to be basically comparably equipped, almost identical in pricing to this. And you know, that's a little more compelling because it has more power. They also have huge screens there in the Nautilus, and I've not driven it, I haven't even sat in it, so I can't say, you know, an in-depth comparison of how this is to that. But on paper, and just from the little information we have so far, it seems like the Nautilus is going to be a very strong competitor to this, and the only competitor really to this. But I mean, it seems like Lincoln's really coming out swinging with the pricing and with what they're going to be offering there and that. So that's the only one that I'd say, you know, you keep an eye out for if you are cross-shopping stuff and you want good fuel economy. But there's no guarantee that that Lincoln will get as good a fuel economy as this either. If it's, you know, more powerful and maybe even a little bit heavier with all that extra tech, you know, it might very well still fall short of the MPG you get here in the RX. So I think it's just, you know, awesome for people that do a lot of commuting with a lot of stop and go, a lot of low speed stuff especially. This is going to save you so much gas money going for the hybrid here, and it's just really well done. I think they did a great job with it. And I mean, you know, it's just, I think, priced super well too, because again, if you want to go for, you know, any of the other hybrids, you know, all the other competitors, you know, the X5, the GLE, the XC60, they all offer plug-in hybrid versions, but those are going to be, you know, into the $70,000 range. range, and Lexus is going to offer their own with the RX450h Plus, and so that'll be the one that really competes with those. So I mean, this is a nice sweet spot where it occupies where you have a good savings over the plug-in hybrid competitors. You get great fuel economy though still. You don't have to worry about the plugging in every night and all that. And I think it just makes a lot of sense, and it's kind of crazy that no one else other than Lincoln is going after the hybrid luxury crossover segment. I think it's incredibly smart of Lexus to continue to offer this, and they just continue to do a really good job with it, even despite the fact they don't have anyone to compete with, honestly. And so, yeah, I really like the 350h. I love the interior. I mean, everything is just so good. Definitely check out the full interior review that me and my wife just did as well, if you want to hear all the details on this interior in the 350h as well. But anyway, that's all of my thoughts here on the RX350h. Let me know your thoughts on it in the comments below. Huge thanks to Lexus for providing me here with the RX350 to review for you guys today. And yeah, thank you all very much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. Take care.